This is Period News. I am Shelly-Ann Weeks. Today's lead story, Epigenetics and Endometriosis. What's really happening in the body? Period News, your trusted source for the latest stories shaping women's health. A 2025 study titled A Comprehensive Assessment explores how epigenetics, the way genes are switched on and off, plays a critical role in the development and progression of endometriosis. The research highlights how changes in gene expression, influenced by factors like DNA methylation, histone modifications, and non-coding RNAs, can drive inflammation, hormone imbalance, and abnormal tissue growth. Importantly, because these changes are reversible, the study points to new possibilities for more targeted and effective treatments. What does this mean? Endometriosis is a chronic inflammatory condition where tissue similar to the lining of the uterus grows outside of it, causing several symptoms, including severe pelvic pain, painful periods, pain during sex, and in many cases, infertility. Globally, endometriosis affects about 1 in 10 women of reproductive age and up to 50% of women experiencing infertility. Even more concerning, 66% of women report symptoms before age 20, yet diagnosis can take years. Epigenetics is the study of how genes are turned on and off without changing the DNA itself. Think of it like switches that control how your body functions. This study highlights 3 genetic mechanisms involved in endometriosis. 1. DNA methylation can silence genes responsible for hormone balance and immune function. Leads to abnormal cell behavior and increased inflammation. 2. Histone modifications. This changes how DNA is packaged in cells and affects how genes are expressed, impacting cell growth and tissue development. And 3. Non-coding RNAs, like microRNAs. Now, RNA is a ribonucleic acid, and they are molecules that help carry out the instructions stored in DNA by controlling how genes are expressed in the body. Now, it can regulate gene activity and contribute to inflammation and abnormal tissue growth. Now, together, these changes can make endometrial-like cells more invasive, persistent, and resistant to normal regulation. That's why endometriosis is no longer seen as a reproductive issue, but a complex systemic condition affecting the entire body. Now, why does this matter? This research is important because it shifts how we understand endometriosis from a condition we manage to one we can decode at a deeper biological level. It explains the why behind the symptoms. Epigenetic changes help explain why endometriosis causes persistent pain, inflammation, and infertility, even when the visible lesions don't fully account for the severity of the symptoms. It reframes endometriosis as a whole body condition. This study reinforces that endometriosis is not just a reproductive issue, but a systemic disease linked to immune function, hormone balance, and inflammation across the body. It highlights the role of the environment. Because epigenetic changes can be influenced by factors like diet, stress, pollution, and lifestyle, it opens important conversations about prevention, risk, and holistic care. It addresses delayed diagnosis and mismanagement, with many women facing years of waiting for a diagnosis. Understanding these underlying mechanisms can lead to earlier detection, better diagnosis, and more accurate treatment pathways. And finally, it opens the door to better treatment options. Unlike genetic mutations, Epigenetic changes are reversible, which means future treatments can target the root causes, not just the symptoms, leading to more personalized and effective care. Endometriosis doesn't just affect physical health, it impacts mental well being, relationships, work and daily life, and overall quality of life. It also is linked to increased risk of autoimmune diseases, cardiovascular conditions, and other chronic illnesses. What's the bottom line? This research brings us closer to a future where endometriosis is not just endured, but understood, treated more effectively, and possibly prevented. While endometriosis remains incurable today, research like this brings us closer to understanding why it happens and how we can treat it more effectively, because every woman deserves answers. Every woman deserves care, and every woman deserves to live without pain. This has been Period News. I am Shelly-Ann Weeks, reminding you to stay informed, stay empowered, and remember, you do not have to accept pain. See you next time.